Our guest is Jeremy Latch, president of Empire Marketing Partners, an independent marketing company working with financial advisors across the country with life, annuity, long-term care, and disability. Jeremy, welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate that, David.
Glad to have you with us. So let's talk about longevity and inflation. And the big question here is, in an environment of people living longer, of course, and also an inflationary period, how do people assure themselves that they're going to have enough income to last them in retirement?
Well, this is one of the biggest concerns retirees have as they head into retirement, no doubt. I mean, wouldn't you agree, David?
Oh, absolutely.
As you're heading into retirement, one of the biggest fears is, am I going to outlive my money? Nobody wants to outlive their income. And between Social Security and pensions, annuities, income withdrawals out of your investments, there's a lot of different income options that you do have available to you, but not all of them are guaranteed. Some of them might carry some risks that are associated with it. So with that being the case, that's what creates the concern. And I think the first question that should come up with is how much of your retirement income do you actually want protected? I think it's really important for clients to understand that when I'm sitting with my advisor, and the question coming from that advisor, I want to be, how much of that money do I want protected, or how much do I want guaranteed? I think it's extremely important. And of course, those numbers are going to vary based upon your risk tolerance, like we were discussing earlier as well. But generally, as we get into retirement, guaranteed income and protected income is becoming a lot more popular these days.
Very good. Well, so the next question, which of course is very relevant for people, once somebody's on a fixed income, however they arrange that for their particular circumstances, how do they combat, or what are we talking about in terms of the inflationary impact on their situation with that income?
Well, when you're on a fixed income and in retirement, I mean, that's generally what you hear is, I'm on a fixed income, I'm on a fixed income, I'm on a fixed budget. And that's not a knock. That's just that's real. That's a reality of where it is when we retire. Is if we want income that's protected, it's going to be a fixed income. And we look at those income options that I discussed, and one of them being Social Security. And that's a huge income that people rely on, but it's not all the income that people rely on. And generally, back in 1982, they established a COLA on Social Security incomes, where you had an increase on your income payment that was based upon the CPI index. And in 2022, clients that are on, or people that are on Social Security income are going to see a 5.9% increase on their Social Security. That is the largest increase since 1982. Now, again, I'm not just getting an increase on my Social Security payment, and that means I got all this much more money to spend. Basically, what it does is just ensures that you're not going to dilute the Social Security payment, because cost of goods and services also rose, correct? So what we're doing is we're just keeping pace with what they're calling inflation and the cost of goods and services that are continuing to rise. But if I'm not seeing the increase on my Social Security payment, I've got to pull that money from another source. And those other sources could be risky sources, non-risk investments. We don't know. But bottom line is, Social Security payments with the cost of living adjustment, it's definitely going to help individuals in 2022 with the cost of living increase. And I think it's important to understand that I've got fixed investments, or I've got income options that are available to me that allow me similar opportunities as well.
That's good. That's very good, Jeremy. Well, I think the challenge then is going to be, if we are at any given point, it varies by year, right? We know this, that we have some more inflation some years than other. But generally, it's realistic and even prudent to say, what? Inflation's going to be an ongoing thing. I need to plan for the cost of goods and services that I'm using and enjoying, that they're going to go up. So with that, how do you recommend people think about increasing their income when they are in retirement?
Yeah, well, you can go back to work. That's one option, but again, then that's going to start to affect a lot of the things that we're talking about today. So, in all reality, I think it's important to really kind of make sure you're well-rounded and understand all the different investment vehicles and insurance vehicles that are available for you today that will allow you these options. There are if we talk about, I like to talk about the term income stability ratio, David, because what that means is pretty much what we were talking about today. That income stability ratio is generating how much of my money did I want safe, how much of it's stable, how much of it's protected. And that number, again, it's going to vary based on your risk tolerance. So, but I think it's important for individuals to understand that there are options out there today where you just don't need to take, where you don't need a lot of alpha in order to create a lot of income stream. And if your objective is ultimately, I'm trying to distribute income, or I'm trying to take income from this vehicle, and this is why I'm allocating so many dollars towards it, understanding that I don't need a lot of alpha in order to achieve the desired outcome that I have. And that desired outcome might be that increasing income that we're talking about. These options are available on non-risk assets. And it's really important for people to understand that, having that rising income stream, or having that story, or the potential to have an increasing income along with my Social Security payment, along with my pensions or other income sources out there, is only going to give me a lot more flexibility to do a lot of things that I want to do in retirement today.
Very good. So when you say alpha, you're talking about growth of the investment, the portfolio going up. And then when we talk about non-market assets, there are a lot of other things we can take a look at. But what you're saying is, and I'll make sure I got it right, is that if our focus can shift for at least part of our money from being all about growth, and then the primary focus or the primary task at hand for some of the other assets that we decide how much that's going to be, that their job isn't so much on growing. The whole portfolio doesn't have to be focused on growth. Some of it can be focused on a reliability of income, and even an income that can increase as we go forward to try to help offset the inflationary, the erosion of our purchasing power for our spending.
Yeah, you nailed it right on the head there, David. And it's one of those deals where kind of we talked about as we get into retirement, as you're in pre-retirement, you get into retirement, our attitude has to shift. And eventually income becomes an important part of what we're trying to accomplish. And there's just a lot of different ways to do it. And some people just want to have non-riskier ways to accomplish that income. So, those options are available, and we just need to ask.
Excellent. Very good. Jeremy Latch, President of Empire Marketing Partners. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me, David. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.